Hi YouTube, Mr. Dodo from 49 here. It's time for another update layout for my double O gauge layout. Now, I think the last one I did was, well, according to YouTube release, was the 26th of October. So it's been a little while, but I put out a few how-to videos. Just coming through shot now is my County of Bedford, pulling two BR cream and chocolate and cream coaches, and two 4-wheel GWR, and finally one B-set GWR coach. So I'm just going to stop her behind us. She's been running quite nicely actually. And there we go. Now for me that's a very long train, as most people know I usually only run maybe 2 coaches. So yeah. But anyway, so it's time to do another update video, so I'm going to get moving with that. You have to apologise if I repeat stuff from the last video or I maybe forget something, but it's been, as I said, a week and a half or 2 weeks or so since I did an update, so yeah. So this is the first place I'm going to do, and I believe it was the last place I left off from the other update, is about lighting. I've added 2 more lights to my station area. Well, as you can see, it's 1 and 2 just there and there. Now basically the far one is highlighting the far end of the station, the track area, and then the one closest to us is highlighting the car park sort of area. I'm actually just going to turn on the lights and then turn off those lights so you can see what's happening if I put that back on. And there you go, you can now see how the station's sort of looking. I think it looks quite good. Excuse me. Just turn them off. Now, if anyone's interested in, sorry about that. If anyone's interested in how I make those lights, there's going to be a link somewhere on the screen. If you want to click on that, that'll take you to my how-to video on those. They're really simple, they're really cheap to make as well, and if you have any problems with them, you just pull them out your baseboard and make a new one. They're that cheap and simple as well. So I am planning on adding, well, a few more lights around this area. No more on the station though. I think the station's pretty much finished, but I might be adding one more light sort of here that will try and illuminate this sort of area. So that covers the whole car park. I will also be adding 1, 2 and 3 just off camera lights here, which will sort of highlight this whole area, and I will be wanting to add one more light, at least one more, where the craft knife is there, which will sort of come back on itself to highlight this sort of area, and hopefully then that will sort of give like an idea of light and dark patches sort of looking quite good and so on. So yes, lighting out, I've got a few other ideas for behind me, but I will come on to that lighting later on. So the next thing I've been working on is this track here from, well, basically from this point here to all the way, all the sidings, right the way back down to over there where the brake van is. Now basically the problem was the tracks worked, but they weren't very reliable. So I've given them all a good clean, I've checked all the points, all the connections and everything like that, and I've come across 2 problems. First one is that point there is so old it should be extinct, and secondly, that point there is a strange one, and unless I can get a point motor to work on it, I'm going to have to get rid of it and replace it with a new left-hand one, or at least a modern left-hand one. So those 2 points will be replaced at some point. Other than that, the track now works quite nicely. I'm just trying to think of anything else I did to that, other than literally just using my track rubber to clean it. I didn't do any other work there, and now the tracks work absolutely fine. Oh, there is one thing I did. I added a DCC clip to give permanent power to, which line was it? To this track here. I'm talking and you can't see. To this track here, which is just, I can't move that very well. I know I didn't lift it up. To this track here basically, because it was dead even when the point was switched. I don't know why, and I got annoyed, so I just put in the clip. So that does mean that at least one of these sidings over here will be constantly live, but I don't have a problem with that, because quite often, as you can see the top one, it's only going to be wagons in there. So yeah, so I managed to get that all going quite nicely, which is good news. So some people might know, but I haven't mentioned it, I have been having a problem with one bit of track, which was this bit here, and for some reason, I couldn't work out why, it took me for ages to work this out, trains kept derailing on this point. Now, after a bit of looking, I realised they were actually derailing on the fish plate, the joint between the two, and once I looked a bit more carefully, I realised that it was twisted. The rail closest to us was about 2 mil higher than the rail on the far side. So because of that, the trains were going over it, and the trains were able to rock. And if they rocked too much, the flanges on the wheels would lift over the rails, and then the loco would just, well, derail itself. So what I had to do was rip out the old track, just get rid of it completely, and I've replaced it with a brand new piece. There's no ballast or glue in there at the moment because I had to check it works properly. But what I'm going to do is put no pressure on it at all. I'm just going to put glue in there and let the glue set, and the glue will get underneath the rails and it'll hold it all at the correct level. But now since I've done that, the locos now just roll straight over it, nice and easily, without any... Of course you say that, but then actually this loco doesn't like big trains, and if I can get it back I'll show you why. Because it's only got 2 driving wheels, so I'm just checking I'm in shot, yeah, because it's got 2 driving wheels, if I push down the front you can see that the rear wheel is quite bouncy, and when you push backwards on quite a heavy or long train, it actually lifts the wheel in the air. So if anyone is buying something like this, it's that's only got 2 driving wheels, just be careful, because it lifts like that. Now a few things you could do is add a spring or something into the front to keep it up, but anyway, that's just me rambling on about random stuff. So there is a second place which I'll just switch. So just one thing I forgot to say about the loco, as I don't pull any long trains, it's not going to cause me any problem, that's just a one-off load. But anyway, it's what I was having was a problem with it derailing whenever the trains came like this, from this end and over this point, they kept derailing. Same problem, I couldn't work out why it was derailing, and it took me a long time to realise that the clips on the plastic to hold the rails up had actually broken on one side. So this rail here on the far side is actually pushing about 1.5 mil out, 2 mil out almost. No, not quite that, maybe 1 mil out. Because of that, this rail here was no longer having a good connection here, which also meant this bit of track was dead. So what I had to do is I actually used a very tiny screw just at the end of my paintbrush there, which is pushing the track back in line. It's about the only thing I think I could do sort of without having to replace the point. Now as it's a streamline point, I didn't really want to remove it and replace it, and that fix there, I've had absolutely no problems with it at all since I've done that. So if anyone has got a problem like that, that your track is sort of broken off its plastic clips on the well, I hope people know what I'm on about, the plastic clips that hold the rails on. If they're broken off there, if you just very carefully get a screw, screw it in at the right position, it will actually hold the tracks in place. And as it's a gold head at the moment, but when I paint it grey, you won't even notice it. So that's just another thing which I've been doing. Right, sorry if this video is quite jumpy from one area to another. But as I said at the start, I've got to try and remember what work I've been doing. I'll explain why later on. Now, what I've actually been trying to do is add power lines running from, obviously, between my pylons. Now, I'm going to be adding these all over the track. I wanted to add sort of wire to it to see how it looked, which I've now done. Now, it's very hard to see. If I maybe will that work? Yeah, you can. If you look on the wooden board, you can just about see the lines there, and they run from. I've only done from this one here to the one over there, just to test it, because I wanted to make sure it worked first of all. I think it has worked quite well. A few things I'd like to do. I'd like to put, you know, you sometimes see it on a couple of posts where they've got a wire from the top, it comes down at an angle, and they like screw it into the ground. And I'm going to do something like that on this one, so it actually pulls the wires tight. By pulling it tight, it makes a massive improvement to the way it looks. At the moment, it hangs down a bit and looks a bit odd. So pulling it tight is a good improvement there. Now, the way I did that was I just got the middle of a wire. I removed all the plastic covering, and then I just pulled out each individual strand of wire, cut it to the length. I think it's 15 inches, 16 inches between the two posts, and then I just glued on one end at a time. and then did the other end, and as you can see I didn't quite pull it tight enough, so it's a bit sagging down. But I think if I just, because this is like an end one, obviously the baseboard, if I move the camera slightly, the baseboard here sort of stops. So what I'm going to be doing is just adding one wire from there down to something like that sort of angle, and then that there will just pull this one, not like yanking it over or anything, just gently pull it tight. And when I do that, you can slightly see them there. You can see it's quite slack there, and when I pull it, you can suddenly see it goes nice and tight, which is sort of what I'm after. So it's just little things like that that will really improve the look of your layout. So final thing is sort of an introduction to another video. I'm going to move the camera again, so hang on. So this is the final thing. I can't get it all in one shot, I don't have enough room. This is the final thing which has been distracting me slightly. If anyone knows, I built myself a gantry crane that runs on rails, and after I did that I actually had some flexi track left over in N-gauge, so I'm going to be using that to build myself a little shelf layout, which is what you can see. So I'm going to be doing a little series on that. Now I'm going to start from the very beginning, and I'm going to run through it in sort of, not like I do with this one here, I'm doing like just maybe 5 or 6 different bits and doing a little video on it. I'm going to be doing it in big chunks, and I'm going to tell you exactly how I would make a layout if I was going to restart. For instance, one thing which this layout, double O gauge layout, hasn't got is where the track touches the wooden baseboard. There's no sound dampening underneath it. There's no cork or what do some people use? Cork, some foam. I haven't got anything like that, so I'm going to be showing you foam and things like that. I'm going to show you how add point motors and stuff, get the track all working, then move on to scenery and do it all in the correct order. As if anyone's been watching my channel will know, I sort of jumped around with the order that I did my built my layout with. As some people know, I've only got point motors on 2 of the points. I've got a pile of 6 point motors to fit, but I haven't got any switches. So anyway, so let's lift it back up, spin the camera around. You can now see me in shot. Yay! I think I've just selected the wrong way. No, I had selected the right way. So as she pulls away, pulling a exceptionally long train from my layout, I'll say thanks for watching. If you have any comments, queries, whatever you want about the layout, then just please leave them below. I'll answer them as quickly as possible. Always like talking to my subscribers, sort of getting ideas, hearing what people think about stuff. So yeah, if you just comment below. As always, please check out my channel and comment, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. So then YouTube, for anybody who is now still watching after that deliberate break, I have now got my results for the competition I was running for my 150th subscriber special. Now, what I need you to do is to basically send me an email saying I've won or something like that. Send it straight to my, well, if you want, leave a comment actually below this saying I've won. That'll make it easy for you. And what I want to say is, as I mentioned in the original competition video, I said I would either send you a 3-month subscription to the Hormy magazine, or I will buy you a wagon and send it to you, maximum price of about £10, £8, something like that. I'd like to say well done to Oliver Moore, I hope I said that right, 1998, Ollie, is your YouTube, YouTube tag. Hopefully I've said that right. So congratulations to you. I will give you 5 days to send me this message, and then I would like you to say if you want me to get your wagon or what. Give it to me and then we can go from there. So yeah, well done to you. If you don't reply within 5 days, I'm going to pick another winner, and I'll just keep going until someone answers. If anyone wants to know, I use something called randomnumbergenerator.org, and that's why I got a random number. So if anyone is planning on doing something, it's a good website to check out. So yeah, well done, and just leave a comment below.